Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're delving into a skill that's absolutely vital for success in every aspect of life: social intelligence. Whether you're navigating complex workplace dynamics, building stronger personal relationships, or simply aiming to understand human interactions better, this episode is for you. We'll explore how being more aware of ourselves and our surroundings can transform our social experiences, helping us to communicate effectively, build empathy, and foster incredible rapport. Let's unlock the power of understanding people.
Welcome, everyone. Today we're doing a deep dive into, social intelligence. And really, our mission here is to pull out those insights, those surprising facts that can genuinely change how you handle social stuff, at work, at home, everywhere, helping you make the best of any situation.
Yeah. Exactly. And, research backs this up. Having clear goals helps you learn. So let's frame it around the module's objectives. Things like being aware of your own behavior, learning empathy, mastering active listening, communicating well with others, recognizing social cues, knowing what to talk about, understanding body language, all that. It really brings to mind that, quote, without a humble but reasonable confidence in your own powers, you cannot be successful or happy. That internal clarity is key.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's start right there with increasing our self-awareness. Because, it's easy to point fingers, right? Wish others would change. But the real change, the transformation, it starts inside. Becoming aware of your own actions, your habits. That's the tool. It impacts you and everything around you.
Yeah, and a huge first step is tackling, self-deception. We all do it, often without even realizing. Our minds kind of bend the facts to protect us, maybe. Think about it. Leaving a meeting thinking mine was the best presentation, even if maybe the feedback wasn't quite that, or feeling awkward and assuming, oh, they're definitely talking about me. That's self-deception, altering reality in our heads. The trick is being, brutally honest with yourself. Look at the info objectively. Facts versus interpretation.
That's really powerful. It makes you think, how do we even start to notice our own self-deceptions? They're so ingrained sometimes.
It's tough, definitely. But a good start is just being aware of common biases. Like confirmation bias, only looking for stuff that proves what we already think. Or the self-serving bias, taking credit for success, blaming failures on outside things. Just knowing these mental shortcuts exist is honestly a big step forward.
Right. And building on that, there's a simple tool we often forget. Asking for feedback. Takes a bit of courage, sure. But it's such an easy way to get an outside view. Ask a colleague, ask a friend. Professionally, casually, doesn't matter. Just be ready, It might not all be glowing praise. And the really hard part, don't get defensive. It's insight, not an attack.
And that connects perfectly to being open to change. We're creatures of habit, right? We like comfort zones. But real growth, that happens when we embrace change, or at least are open to it. So when you get that feedback, try to reframe it. How could this actually help me? Don't just assume it's negative. See it as a chance to improve. That open mindset, that's where feedback really works. It's like Wayne Dyer said, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Profound stuff.
Definitely. And alongside feedback from others, there's self-reflection, just as valuable. Looking back at your own actions, learning from experiences, even mistakes. Don't just remember it, try to recreate it in your mind. What did you see, hear, feel? What were you doing? How did others react? Their body language. Like that Penny example in the source, she didn't just brush off the feedback, she replayed it, saw the point, and used it. That internal look helps us evolve. Okay, so once we have that foundation of self-awareness, the next big step is empathy. The keys to empathy. And it's more than just, walking in someone else's shoes. It's an active choice, treating people with respect, really trying to see their world from their side.
And empathy starts with listening and paying attention. There's a huge difference between just hearing noise and truly listening, right? Listening is a skill. You got to practice it. Things like cutting out distractions, making eye contact, nodding a bit, asking follow-up questions, asking them to repeat things if needed. It's amazing how powerful just being present in a conversation actually is. Like Meryl Streep said, the great gift of human beings is that we have the power of empathy. Listening unlocks that.
Which brings us to something tricky. Don't judge. We all do it. Snap judgments, often totally subconscious, based on how someone looks, talks, whatever. But here's the problem. Judgment builds walls. It blocks real connection. Remember the inside person versus the outside person? There's always more going on underneath. We can't stop judging completely, probably, but we can notice it and pause it.
Exactly. And to fight that automatic judgment, you need to actively shift your view. Yeah. It's not just a saying, it's a mental exercise. Literally, try to imagine yourself in their situation. Feel the pressure of their deadline, maybe. The nerves of their speech. It doesn't mean you agree with them necessarily. It's about pausing, reflecting, trying to understand why they might feel or act that way. It makes you wonder, though, how can we really practice this consistently, especially when someone's really pushing our buttons?
Yeah, it's hard. I think maybe acknowledging your own gut reaction first, then taking a breath and asking, okay, what am I missing? What's their story here? Just forces a pause. And speaking of authenticity, don't show fake emotions. People pick up on fakeness instantly. It makes things awkward, even insecure. Doesn't mean you have to be brutally blunt if you think something's bad, but be honest, tactfully. Real honesty, delivered kindly, is valued way more than fake smiles. Remember Donald and Brad? Donald could have just dismissed Brad's stress, but he acknowledged it genuinely. That built a real connection. Okay, let's zoom in on active listening again. It's so central to empathy, but it deserves its own focus. It's not just waiting your turn to talk. It builds real connections, avoids misunderstandings.
Absolutely. A key part is attunement. Being really aware and responsive to the other person. A lot of this is nonverbal. Mirroring body language slightly, maybe matching their pace a bit, good eye contact. These signals, often subconscious, they either build connection or break it. When you're attuned, people feel seen, heard. They open up more. Like Brian H. McGill said, one of the most sincere forms of respect is actually listening. It really resonates.
And when you're truly tuned in, you're less likely to jump to conclusions.
Okay.
It's so easy. Hear one thing, see one action, and boom, you've written the whole story. Maybe you dismiss someone because you judge their first comment harshly. These snap judgments, often based on biases, they damage relationships, close doors. So important to pause, ask clarifying questions, get more info first. Think about Judy and Cindy. Judy could have assumed Cindy was quitting over software, but she just asked directly. Clarification saved the friendship.
Yeah, it's a challenge because our brains naturally focus on ourselves first, right? It's efficient. But active listening demands we flip that. Shift your focus entirely to the speaker. Face them. Make eye contact. Nod. Allow pauses. Don't jump in. And when they finish, don't just plan your reply. Ask questions to make sure you got it. This isn't just polite. Shifting focus is how you truly absorb and remember what's being said. It's where learning happens.
And one last thing on listening, a common mistake. Don't discount feelings. Someone shares a problem and we jump to fix-it mode. Oh, it's not that bad, or cheer up. Well-intentioned, maybe, but it can make them feel unheard, like you're minimizing their experience. The key is to listen and acknowledge their feelings. Don't try to smooth it over instantly. Offer support, an ear. Validate their feelings. Don't dismiss them. All right, let's broaden out now to communication in general, which is, way more than just talking and listening. It's the tool we use to build deeper connections, trust, networks, everything.
Definitely. And a core part is give respect and trust. When you approach someone's ideas with genuine respect and open mind, give them your full attention. That builds rapport. It builds trust. And what's interesting is it often comes back to you. Offer respect, you tend to get it back. Strengthens everything. Mark Twain had a point, didn't he? A man's character may be learned from the adjectives. Our words reveal a lot.
And linked to that is be consistent. Consistency between what you say and what you do. It builds reliability. Trustworthiness. If you say you'll do something, do it. If you commit, follow through. It makes you dependable. People know where they stand with you. Worth thinking about, right? Or could you be a bit more consistent?
Then there's the big one. Always keep your cool, especially under pressure. It's natural to feel defensive, maybe angry if someone's rude or critical. But lashing out doesn't help. The key is composure. Feel that emotion rising. Pause. Reflect what was actually said, separated from your reaction. If you need to, step away for a second. Regain perspective. You don't have to agree with them, but you can control how you respond.
That's so critical. In those really tense moments, what's like the very first practical thing you can do to regain that cool?
Honestly. For a lot of people, it's just a deliberate deep breath. Not quick gasp, but in through the nose. Hold. Slow exhale through the mouth. It physically calms your nervous system, interrupts that fight or flight thing, gives you just that tiny bit of space to choose your next move.
Simple but effective. Okay. And speaking of nonverbal stuff, observing body language. It says so much, sometimes even contradicts the words. Paying attention to others' body language helps you understand them better. And, just as important, understand what your own body language is communicating. Like Danielle preparing for her presentation. She didn't just practice words, she planned to watch the audience crossed arms. Eye contact, reading the room, gave her confidence.
Let's really dig into social cues now. These are those little hints, verbal or nonverbal, about what someone's thinking or feeling. The goal is to become kind of a detective, noticing these subtle signals. Because like Peter Drucker said, the most important thing is hearing what isn't said.
And a big part of reading cues is recognize social situations. It's not one size fits all, is it? You talk differently to your boss than your friend. So before jumping in, ask yourself, what's this gathering for? Who's here? What's the vibe? Formal, casual, common interests. Knowing the context helps you adjust how you present yourself.
And within those cues, oh boy, the eyes have it.
Uh-huh.
They really do reveal so much. Hidden feelings often leak out through the eyes first. Watch for eye-rolling annoyance, maybe. Lots of blinking could be discomfort. Wandering eyes, boredom. On the flip side, direct eye contact. Maybe slight eyebrow flashes that signals interest, engagement. It's amazing how much info our eyes broadcast.
And then there are all the other nonverbal cues people throw around that 90% rule. Now, we need to be careful with that specific number. It came from studies about feelings and attitudes, not just any communication. But the point remains. A huge chunk of meaning comes from beyond words. Facial expressions, how you move, posture, gestures, folded arms, fidgeting, clenched jaw. It's worth thinking about your own habits. Are they welcoming? Or maybe a bit closed off?
And don't forget verbal cues. Not the words themselves, but how they're said. Emphasis, tone, pitch, volume, pauses. Think about, I'd like to help you work on your presentations versus I'd like to help you work on your presentations. Same words, totally different implications depending on where the stress falls. Controlling these ensures your message lands the way you intend it.
Right, which leads to this idea of a spectrum of cues. Some are super obvious, someone shouting or making really awkward gestures, you can't miss them. Others are way more subtle. That extra blink, a tiny shift in tone. The skill is noticing, reflecting before reacting. And in awkward spots, it's about being adaptable and flexible, lead by example. Mary noticed her team seemed uneasy, even though they said they were all right. Her reading the subtle cues led her to follow up, uncovering real issues.
Another area, sometimes tricky, is personal space. Edward Hall talked about zones: public, social, personal. Personal is usually arm's length for people we're comfortable with. And culture matters hugely here. What's normal in one place feels intrusive in another, if someone's too close. Instead of backing away abruptly, maybe try a slight sidestep, or excuse yourself to move. Staying mobile helps. But it does raise that question, how do we navigate these cultural differences respectfully?
I think that Andrew case study was a good illustration. He realized his typical American closeness wasn't working with his global team. So he consciously adjusted, gave a bit more space, showed respect, improved relationships, simple adjustment, big impact.
Okay, let's pivot to conversation skills, because conversation, well, it's what glues us together socially, builds friendships, networks, gets deals done, good topics, positive current events, shared work stuff, hobbies, sports, TV, travel, even the weather works. Aim for connection. But just as crucial is knowing topics to avoid in a group. Generally, religion, politics, deep personal health issues, any kind of prejudice, or off-color jokes. These are often really personal, highly charged. They can just cause tension, arguments. Joseph Priestley nailed it. The more elaborate our means of communication, the less we communicate. Sometimes simple and safe is best for harmony.
And while you're talking, keep an eye out for those cues to watch for. Signs of discomfort, boredom, anger, agreement. Could be a sigh, a change in tone, looking away, arms crossing. These are your signals. Tells you maybe it's time to shift gears or change the topic.
Absolutely. And maybe the single most important thing in any conversation, give people your attention. Really look at them, nod, ask real follow-up questions, put the phone away. There's even neuroscience here. Feeling heard releases oxytocin, that bonding chemical, builds trust, giving your full attention. It's the ultimate sign of respect. It shows you value them. Think of Tina skillfully steering that tense conversation to safer ground, then locking in with everyone. Change the whole dynamic.
So with all that, let's focus specifically on body language itself. It's such a fundamental way we communicate, often without thinking. Movements, posture, gestures. It's a silent language.
Exactly. And because so much is unconscious, you have to actively be aware of your movements. Practicing in a mirror helps, seeing your own posture. But even better, just watch how others react to you. Do they lean in, seem hesitant? It tells you a lot. Like Deborah Bowles said, body language is a very powerful tool. We had body language before we had speech. It's primal.
And it loops back to that idea. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Tone, emphasis, pitch, they change everything. Our old example, I'd like to help versus I'd like to help you. The words are the same, but the delivery, totally different feel.
A useful way to think about it is open versus closed body language. Like a traffic light. Open is green. Open hands, eye contact, maybe a smile, leaning in slightly. It invites connection. Closed is red. Crossed arms, turning away, fidgeting, avoiding eye contact. It signals stay away. So the question for you listening is, how can you consciously shift your own body language to be more open, more inviting, more powerful?
It's about that self-correction again, isn't it? Noticing and adjusting. Ultimately, all this is about learning to communicate with power, which means thinking before speaking, being active listener, watching cues, verbal and nonverbal in others, and being super aware of your own body language, like Seth needing his words, tone, and body language to all match up when talking about that tough report. Congruence is key. Okay, moving from the how of communication to the why, building rapport. This is about creating those strong professional and personal bonds, gaining trust, confidence. Simple things help mirroring posture subtly, finding genuine shared interests. It really echoes Anthony Robbins. The quality of your life is the quality of your relationship.
And a surprisingly effective strategy here is to take the high road. Be humble. Put others first sometimes. Focus on contributing, not just competing. It seems counterintuitive, maybe, taking a lower profile. But actively listening, showing genuine interest in others' ideas that can actually make you stand out more positively, build stronger ties.
It's a neat paradox, and flowing from that may be the most important thing. Forget about yourself.
Yeah.
Stop waiting for your turn to talk about your stuff. Spend more time genuinely listening to others. Ask questions about them, their experiences, their thoughts. When people feel you actually care about them, not just what they offer you, they open up. That builds incredibly strong connections.
And a really practical school for this is remembering people, names and faces. Why do we forget? Often we weren't really listening in the first place. Tips. Say their name right away. Ask them to repeat it if needed. Link it to a feature or gesture. Connect it to someone you know. Did you know recalling someone's name actually lights up pleasure centers in their brain, makes them feel seen, valued? So, quick challenge. What's one simple habit you could start today to get better at remembering names?
Just saying it back immediately seems like a good first step. So easy to skip. And finally, to really cement that rapport, ask good questions. Not yes/no questions, open-ended ones. About them, their experiences. Let them share their pearls of wisdom. Draws you into their world, builds connection. Like, what do you enjoy most about? Or what advice would you give someone like me? Or what are some company accomplishments you're proud of? Ellen, the new employee example, she nailed this. Remembered names, focused on others, asked great questions, built rapport fast. So we've covered a lot. Self-awareness, empathy, communication, rapport. What does it all boil down to for you, the listener? Maybe the real deep dive isn't just learning techniques, but maybe it's about cultivating this deep, fundamental curiosity about people, about the whole human experience.
I think that's a great way to put it, connecting it to the bigger picture. Real social intelligence isn't just a checklist of skills you apply. It's more of a mindset, isn't it? Continuous observation, understanding, adapting gracefully, seeing every interaction as a chance to learn and connect. It makes you think of that John Gardner quote. Some people strengthen the society just by being the kind of people they are. So the final thought is, with all this insight, what kind of person will you choose to be?
And that brings us to the close of our insightful discussion on social intelligence. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you've gained valuable tools to increase your self-awareness, enhance your empathy, and master the art of communication, both verbal and nonverbal. Remember, strong social connections are the cornerstone of a fulfilling life and a thriving career. If you found this episode insightful, please show your support by hitting that like button, sharing it with your colleagues and friends, and subscribing to our channel for more essential professional development content. Until next time, keep sharpening your social smarts.